Hi guys, good evening. So in the last session, we saw about translation, right? So in translations, we saw about static NAT, dynamic NAT, dynamic part, static part, destination NAT, and then policy. These all different types we see. Okay. Now, before going to these two, we have also auto NAT and we have destination NAT. So when we will configure NAT, we will see two, not destination, sorry, manual. Okay, so we'll see two types. One is auto NAT and second one is manual NAT. So auto NAT means it will do the translation of source address only. You will get an option to translate only source site. And in manual NAT, you will get option to translate both your source as well as destination. Okay, this thing you have to be like this thing you have to take care. That is in the auto NAT, we will be able to translate only source translation. We'll be able to perform only source address translation. While in the manual NAT, we will be able to translate source as well as the destination also. Okay. So now what? The other types of translation, like, the few other types that I have explained or that I have told you earlier, which is twice NAT. Okay. Then we have dual NAT. Then we have identity NAT. Okay. We have zero NAT. So in these two terms are same. Identity and zero. That means no translation at all. Okay. And twice NAT or dual NAT, where translation is happening two times. That means both source and destination, two translations are happening. Okay. So these things I will explain when we are doing the policy NAT. These two things you will understand with this one. Okay. So let's start with the configuration part. First of all, we'll go with the static NAT. Okay. So let me open a lab. Let me write the configurations here. Let's start all the FTD devices. See, right now we want to go with the translation. So we can, like, instead of using all the devices, we can just go and use few devices only. So first of all, let me open the lab diagram. Okay, so instead of using all of them, we can just use one router for performing the translation. In dynamic NAT, we will need, okay, let's start all the devices only. Let it be. We'll start all the devices. It's like PC, ADDNS. Now let's take access. So FTD FMC access, we will take using the graphical. Three, 682. This is for FMC. And inside PC access, we need to take remote console. Inside R1 access, we need to take inside R2 access, DMZ, outside R1. Then we have outside R2. So all these devices are coming up. Inside PC is up. FMC will take some time to come up. So in static NAT, what we will be doing is we will say that one of our inside device, okay, say for example, like this inside R1. So when this will go outside, we will translate it to 100.1.125. Okay. This is the address that we will translate it to. So here, my traffic flow will be in this direction. This will be the direction of my traffic flow. So what will be my source zone and what will be my destination zone? Source is inside. Destination zone is outside, correct. Okay. Source zone is inside and destination zone is outside. So now let me check if the devices are up. FMC. Yeah, it's up. So it says 0, 1, 2, 3. System processes are starting. Please wait. Started. Login. Now, first of all, what we will do is see by default in the firewall, what happens that from nowhere to nowhere, like from anywhere to anywhere, there is no traffic allowed from inside to outside, outside to inside, right? So one rule we will create so that we will have entire communication from inside to outside and also outside to inside. Full communication we are going to have. Okay. So this is a rule that we are going to create. So let me just go to firewall policies. Edit this policy. Okay. So right now I'm going to delete all these rules. One single rule I'll create to allow all traffic. Let's click on add rule. Now from where to where? So inside to outside and outside to inside. Everything I want to allow. All communication. So zones I'm not defining from any zone to any zone. Network also it can be from any network to any network. Okay, there's no ports and anything defined. And I'll say login, log these connections, add it. Okay, so this is one allow rule I have created. I'll say save it. Okay, and let's deploy it in the FTD deploy. So after this, what should happen that we should have entire communication, right? Like right now, if I check, if I try to ping 11.11.1.26, right now there is no communication happening. So after deployment, we should be able to communicate. The deployment is going on. Done. Now we should be able to communicate from inside to outside. Able to communicate. What about from outside to inside? From outside to inside. Right. I'm able to. So right now I'm having complete communication from everywhere to everywhere, from outside to inside, inside to outside. Now, right now, if I check on the outside R1 that, okay, who is accessing? Okay. So either I can check in this way or I can directly take a telnet access also. 125. Username is Cisco. Password is Cisco. Spelling mistake is done. Username is Cisco. Password also Cisco. Okay, so I can use the command who to check who is accessing right now. So you can see right now my actual private IP address is there, which is 10.1.1.125. Okay. Now, what do I want? That my private IP address should not go outside, right? I want to translate it. Okay. So how do I translate? Check here. So to which address I have to translate? If you remember, I'm going to translate it to 100.1.1.125. 10.1.1.125, I will translate to 100.1.1.125. Okay. So let's go and perform the translation. This is done. Go to the devices. In the devices, you'll find NAT. Okay. So right now there is no NAT policy. We will create a new policy here. And here I will click on threat defense policy. That means policy for FTD. So click on FTD, then name it. Let's say my NAT policy. Okay, and to which device it will apply? It will apply to our FTD. And I'll click on save. This is my NAT policy. Now in this policy, right now there is no rule. So first rule we will create, we'll click on add a rule. Now here you see manual NAT rule is there and auto NAT rule is there. Okay, so see the difference here. If I go to the translation tab, in the manual NAT, I have source, destination, source port, destination port. So you can see I can like translate both the things, source address also, destination address also, and we selected firepower. It would have no, that is different. Okay, that is a different thing. Yeah, this is source port and this is destination port. This is because of manual NAT rule. If I click on auto NAT rule, now see here, only source option is there. So I believe now it's clear, auto NAT and manual NAT. In auto NAT, you can translate only source side, and in manual NAT, both source as well as destination. So right now we will go with the auto NAT only. Okay, and let's click on the interface object. What type of NAT I'm doing right now? Static NAT. Okay, and here if I say who will be my source zone, my source zone will be in this case and destination zone will be outside. So let's go for it. So inside, add to source, outside, add to destination. Translation I'm doing. Now, what is my original source? So what do you think here? What is my original source? My communication will be happening. Okay. My communication will be happening between inside R1 and outside R1. So my original source will be what? My original source will be 10.1.1.125. Then my translated source will be 100.1.1.125. Okay. So let's go for it. Original source. Click on add. We will add an object here. Okay. And I believe we can find the object already here. Inside R1, this is my original source. Now translated source. So do I have already created an object for 100.1.1.125? No, I haven't. So I'll create an object here that inside R1 translated IP. And what is the IP? 125. 125. Click on save. From here, select it inside R1 translated IP. Now, right now, I'm not performing any sort of port translation. This is only static NAT, right? So this specific IP address 10.1.1.25 will get translated to 100.1.1.25. And this thing also you can verify from here. Okay, like if I access the FTD, this is the FTD coming up. Just 0, 1, 2, 3. So here, if I show, say that, okay, show NAT. So there is no translation right now. So actually, no translation at all right now. Okay. So now let's, and right now we are not doing any pack pool or any advanced options. Right now we are not going with anyone. Okay, just this IP into this IP translation we are doing 10.1.1.125 to 100.1.1.125. Click on OK. NAT rule is created. And do you see here this symbol? This symbol means what? Your translation is bidirectional. Okay. This symbol simply means that your translation here right now it is bidirectional. Okay. Now save it. Saved. Deploy the rule into the FTD and deploy. Okay, so now deployment is going on. Done. Now, once this is done, now let's try. So this is the inside R1 again. So earlier when I checked, I was going through the IP address 10.1.1.125. Okay. And now let me exit from here and let me establish the connection again. Cisco. Cisco. And now if I check who, now you can see what is the IP address. It is 100.1.1.125. So this is the translated IP. Okay. Now, also in the FTD, we can check. Earlier, when I checked show NAT, nothing was there. Now, if I check in the FTD, so see here what FTD says that auto NAT is going on right now. From inside to outside, the source is 10, the inside R1, this is the source object. This is the translated object. Okay. And these are the translated counts and untranslated counts. Okay. And if you want more details, show NAT detail. So here you can see that 10.1.1.125 is getting translated to 100.1.1.125. Okay. Then let's check the XLEAD table. So if you check the XLEAD, show slate So here you can see that NAT is happening from inside 10.11.125 to outside 100.11.125. What is the flag here? S for static. Okay. This is clear. And like I said, that your static NAT is what? Bidirectional. So let's verify that am I able to communicate to this IP address from the outside? Okay, so let me exit from here. And now let me go to the outside R1. And from here, I will say 100.125. Now this IP does not really exist, okay? So if I get a communication from here, that means I have bidirectional communication. So here you can verify. I'm able to access, and what I'm accessing here, the inside R1. Clear? So your static NAT is bidirectional. This way you can verify. Static NAT is clear. How you will configure static NAT. All right. And see here, this is also that right now in the FTD, when I check, this is my FTD. This is inside R1, this is outside R1. And this is our FTD. Let's find it here. And this one here. Check here. When I say show NAT detail, right now, what is the translate head counts and what is the untranslated counts? So what do you mean by translate and what do you mean by untranslate? So see here. Yes, correct. The translation is what? When it is going from inside to outside. Those hit counts are what? Translate hit counts. And when it is coming from outside to inside, these are what? Untranslate. Okay. Not the reply traffic. Okay. When the traffic is originated from the outside, it is untranslate. And when the traffic is originated from the inside, it is translate. Correct. Okay. But not for the response traffic. Okay. See here, again, I will show you that right now, this is my inside R1. This is outside R1. And this is our FTD. Okay, so notice what are the hit counts right now? It is 1 and 1. So when I will access using this 11.1.125, if I say Cisco, okay, and exit. Now see which hit counts increased. Which one increased? Translate. Okay. Now, if I go to 100.1.125, Cisco, and now exit again. Okay. Now see. Which one increased? Untranslate. Correct. So I believe now it's clear, which hit counts will increase. And now you can also see here, if I say ping, Now 111.125. Now verify here. Same thing. And if I say ping 111.125, this is clear, right? Guys, clear? Okay, great. Now let's go for dynamic NAT. So for dynamic NAT, let's first remove this rule. But why does the reply count doesn't count? See, translate and untranslate are two different cases, right? So depending on the traffic, when we were talking about the traffic, yes, it is getting translated. But here, this is a next generation firewall. In ASA, you will see that thing. Okay. Yeah. And also, if you see here, the source we have mentioned what inside and the destination is outside. Okay. So your traffic should be going from inside to outside. Then the translation will happen. And here you can also say the same thing, like when we were communicating with the ICMP. So I was sending 5 packets here. So why the hit count increased only one time? Because every single packet is getting translated, correct? Every single packet is getting translated here. But the here in hit count, if you see, increased only one. So this is with the next generation file. Okay. Now let's remove this rule. Save it. Now the next thing we'll do here is your dynamic NAT. So for dynamic NAT, I will translate this entire network, entire inside network, and I'll translate it to a range, something like 150.111 to 150.111. Let's say only 2 IP addresses I will use, so that also you will be able to see that in my pool, if I have 2 IP address only, so the third system will not be able to get an IP address, will not be able to communicate. Okay, that part also we can verify here. Okay, so I will use these 2 IP address 150.111 and 150.112. Again, my source will be inside and destination will be what? Outside only. So let's go and configure it. Let's add a root here. And before that, let me deploy it and show you that what we will be using. That's done. Now let's go and verify. Cisco. Cisco. So you can see right now my real IP address is there. Okay. Now let's exit from here and let's create the rule. Add a rule, AutoNAT. This time type I will change to dynamic. Okay. Now source is inside, destination is outside. So tell me one thing, in dynamic NAT, do we consider ports? Yes or no? In dynamic NAT, do we consider ports? No, right? So automatically you can see here the port option is hidden. Okay. So who will be the source? Source will be my inside network. Okay. So first of all, let me check if I have something for the inside network. So we have our inside network object already. For outside, we need to create one object. So inside say inside dynamic NAT, or let me just name it dynamic NAT. In this pool, we have IP addresses 150.111 to 150.112. Okay. So I'll say 150.111 to 150.112. These are the IP addresses in my pool. Save it. Select the object. So my inside network will get translated to my dynamic NAT pool. Click on OK. And then after, save it and deploy it. Click on deploy, select the FTD, deploy. Done. Then let's verify. Show NAT. So right now you can see here, okay, when I use the show NAT command, that my inside network is getting translated to my dynamic NAT pool. Okay. So if I say show NAT detail, it will give you information that your 10.110/24 is getting translated to 150.111, 150.112, this IP range. Okay. But here I will not get any information on, what is the exact IP address getting translated to what exact IP address. And also you can notice this symbol this time. What this symbol says. Earlier it was a different symbol. Okay. What does it mean? It means unidirectional. Correct. Okay. So here in the, first of all, dynamic NAT is what? Unidirectional. Second thing, here in the NAT table, you can see, you just see the information what we have configured. But if I check show XLA, I don't have any information here. Why? Because actual translations will be done when your clients are accessing. Okay. So whomsoever is coming first will get an IP address, and whomsoever is coming last will not get an IP address. Okay. So let's go and try to access. So first of all, let's go to the inside R1. Okay. 11.1.1.25 Cisco. Cisco. So we access, give the command who. Then go to inside R2, right to access. Neighbor. Just get it a bit. Okay. And let me say 11.26. Cisco. Cisco. So here you can see inside R1 got the IP address 150.112. This got the IP address 150.111. Now if inside PC will try to access. Okay. Now from here, if I try to take a telnet access, and before that you can verify that I do have connectivity with my FTD. Okay. Now see here. It's taking some time. So, okay, so I'll take a telnet access for 11.1.1 and verify. Open, and I'll not get an access. Why I'm not getting an access? Because there is no free IP in the tool. Okay, and on the FTD also you can verify. Again, if I check NAT, so in NAT, I can see the configuration only. I do not see the actual translation. Okay, while if I check the XLATE, in the XLATE, I can see that 10.1.1.125 got the IP address 150.112, 10.1.1.126 got the IP address 150.1.1.1. What is the flag? I means what? Dynamic. And dynamic entries have a timeout. Okay, so here the timeout is 3 hours. Okay, the timeout is 3 hours. This is clear. Now let's say, let's verify again. So I'll do what? I'll clear the XLATE. Okay. Clear the XLATE. Can we change the timeout? This is the default timeout. Okay. So I don't really think you can change it here. Okay. Because we didn't see any configuration related to that. Now see here, I have cleared the XLATE. So if I check show XLATE, nothing is there. Now if I try the same access again, if I say restart session, do you see I get an option to ask Cisco? Cisco. See? Cool. And now let me take outside R1 access also. Cisco. Cisco. And if I check on R2, now this time R2 will not get an IP address. Okay. So R2 is not going to have any communication. Okay. So here you can see 150, 111, 150, 112. These are the devices accessing it. And here outside R2, sorry, inside R2 is not able to access. Why? No free IP in the pool. And again, in the FTD, you can verify here in the accelerate table. That one IP address is given to 150, 10.11, 125. Okay, one IP is given to the 10.11, 125, and another IP is given to 10.111. Okay, this is clear. How to configure dynamic NAT? Yes or no? Okay. Now here, if I check the NAT table, yes, they will get cut, right? Because the translations are gone. Okay. Clear? Okay. Check what is. If we have multiple devices in the FMC, for example, FTD1, FTD2, so once we done some config and deploy onto FTD1, then done some config deploying to FTD2. No, that will not deploy. Like I said, every time it's a new template. Okay, yeah. Don't worry, when we will talk about HA concept, when we talk about HA concept, there you'll see the same thing. Yeah. Okay. And one more thing we can verify here, the bidirectional thing. So if I try from outside R1, okay, this is FTD, this is outside R1. So from here, if I try, let's say 150, 112. So see, right now I'm getting the access. Why? Because the translation is there. The translation entry is there. Okay. But if I don't have the translation entry, then I will not get this access. Because see, in dynamic NAT, what will happen? The IPs are not fixed. Okay. Yeah. The IPs are not fixed because anytime, let's say this FTD1 goes out, okay, sorry, inside R1 goes out and before inside R1, inside R2 is coming. So tomorrow this IP can be assigned to inside R2. Okay. So in that case, we will not get access to the same device only. So that's why we say that, okay, this is not bidirectional. Okay, this is a unidirectional only. This is clear about the dynamic NAT. Okay. Now, let's minimize all this. Let's remove this rule. Delete. Let's save it. Now, next is what? Dynamic. Right. Okay, that is dynamic port. Yes, one doubt. What if we don't have a range? We have a random IPs. Can we put them in the pool? See here. When you will take, see, these are not IPs. These IPs you will take from the ISP. Okay. So ISP will not assign you random IPs. First of all, ISP is not going to assign you random IPs. Second thing, we just have option either you give a single IP address or an IP address with a CIDR or a range of IP. Okay, so when you will tell the ISP that I want 10 IP addresses, so they will give you 10 IP addresses in the sequence only. Okay, this way the management for IP addresses for the ISP also becomes easier. Clear? Okay, next thing is about dynamic PAT. So dynamic PAT we can configure in two ways. One is, see, in dynamic PAT, what we are doing is we are mapping everything to a single IP address, right? Your entire network to a single IP address. So either you can purchase a dedicated IP, let's say maybe I can go with one IP, something like 200.111. This is one possibility. Another one is might be that you will go and use what? You will go and use the outside interface IP. These two possibilities. Okay, these two possibilities are there. So first of all, we'll go with the static IP. Okay. Then after we'll see outside interface also. So let's go here. Now we will consider that we are taking the IP here 200.111. Okay, the IP we are taking is 200.111. So add a rule. Go here, AutoNAT. Source is inside, destination is outside. Translation we are doing, and I'm translating my inside network. On the outside, I'm using a single IP address, so I need to create a pool. Okay. Okay. So I'll call it dynamic patch IP, and the IP is 200.111. So the IP I'm using here 200.111. Save it. So dynamic PAT IP. So my entire internal network will be translated to dynamic PAT IP. Okay. Say okay. This is what we have configured. Okay, we didn't change the type. Sorry. That's why this symbol is bidirectional. Here, change the type to dynamic. Okay. Now this becomes unidirectional. Save it and deploy it. Now let's check. First of all, show NAT detail. Okay, so you can see my entire internal network will get translated to 200.111. Okay, and earlier when I was checking when I was checking the axle table, so it was showing like NAT from here, NAT from here. This time it will show you PAT. Okay, so right now if I check, so this is dynamic entry. I'll not get anything right now. Okay, this is the old one. So let me clear it. Clear it, slate. These are the old entries. Okay, so because this is dynamic configuration, we are not going to get anything here right now. Okay, now what we will do is we will try to communicate, and this time the translation will not happen to 150.112 and 150.111. It will happen everything to 200.111. And so far we haven't seen any information related to port numbers here. Okay, we haven't seen any information that is related to the port numbers. So this time we will see even the port numbers also. Okay, so let's go for it. So let me go and generate the traffic. So 11.1.125, Cisco, and then after Lavan 11.26, Cisco. Okay. So let's see. Here also. And let me use the inside PC. Can put it closed. Okay. So 11.125. Cisco. Okay. Cool. Now let's go to the FTD and verify. First of all, show NAT detail. No information related to translations. Okay. And show Xlate. Now here you can see that TCP PAT is happening from inside to outside. This is the IP 10.1.1, port number 49160 getting translated to 200.111, port number 49160. What are the flags? R and I, dynamic port map. Okay. Then 10.1.125, port number 51781 getting translated to 200.111, 51781. Then 10.1.126, port number 65310 getting translated to 200.111, port number 65310. This is clear. How your dynamic PAT is working and how you can is that clear? How it works and how you configure it? Okay. Now let's close it. Then, okay, did I close something? FTD closed. Let's delete it. The second implementation we will see. That is, we will use the outside interface IP. Save it, deploy it, deploy it, and let's clear the slate. Easy, right? How you configure NAT in the FTD? Very easy. Compared to ASA and all, you don't have to remember the commands and everything. Yeah. This is done. Now let's configure. So this time what we will do is we will use the outside interface IP. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll click on add a rule. Again, I'll go with the auto NAT rule. Source will be inside, destination will be then this is dynamic. Source is what? My inside network. And earlier, every time we were just giving the address here. Instead of address, what I'll do is destination interface IP. Okay, so what is my destination? Outside zone. So that means automatically it will take the outside interface. Okay, just click on OK, save, deploy, click on this and deploy. So this will use what? Outside interface IP. So you can see here from inside to outside, inside network will get translated to the interface. Done. Let's go for it. Then okay. This is inside R2. This is my inside C. So this is inactive right now, you can see. Now let's go to the inside R1. 111.125. Cisco. Cisco. Cool. Then inside R2. Cisco. Cisco. Cool. And then here also I can restart it. Cisco. Cisco. Cool. So these are the old ones, okay? Don't worry about these. These are the old connections it is showing. New connections will come up now. See, now do you see correct IP? Okay. So on the FTD also you can see the translations happened. So earlier it was showing you like this 200, yes, and now if I show you that to NAT detail, so you can verify everything will get translated to 11.110. And if I check the XLate, sorry, I clear the XLate. We need to establish the session again. Okay, here also on the routers, let me clear the lines so that you will not get confused. So on outside R1 it's cleared. On outside R2 also let me clear. Here also clear. Now you will see everywhere correct information. So this is outside R1. Cisco. Cisco. Cisco here and also here and also here. Option to restart. Now let me restart. Cisco. Cisco. Now you will see only correct information. That the translations are happening to 11.110 only. Now let me go to the FTD. Verify here. This time we will not clear it. So you can see that 10.1.1 port number 49152 to getting translated to 11.1.110, 10.1.1.125 also 11.1.110 and 10.1.1.126 also 11.1.110. This is how your dynamic path is happening. Clear? So any doubts so far? Configuration wise, any doubt? No doubts. Okay. So today you guys practice this much. Now tomorrow what we will go with? Tomorrow we'll go with this concept. These three concepts. And when we will go with the policy net, automatically all these terms will become clear. Twice net and identity net. Okay. This is clear. The dynamic part we have seen in two ways. Okay. This one we have seen in two ways. One is a fixed IP And the second implementation we have seen for the same is we have used outside interface segment. Okay, so four implementations we have seen today. Tomorrow we'll see these three implementations of NAT. Then tomorrow NAT concept will complete. Okay, NAT will be completed tomorrow. Then after NAT, the next concept that we are going to have is after NAT, we will have we will go with URL filtering, application filtering. Okay, that means layer 7. After that, application filtering, URL filtering. Okay, then we have file and malware policy. Okay, this we have. And then after this, we will have refilter policy. Check. And we have firewall. Transparent firewall. We are going to go with IP6 like to say VPN. And we'll go with flex market. Okay. So these are the topics that are remaining. Okay, we have enough time to complete, so we'll complete it. This is clear. Okay. All right, guys, then I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. New batch will be starting. Let me confirm.